Hello everyone, welcome to Movie Mania Podcast. I'm your host Alex Elmer, bringing you more cinema-related content. From top 5 lists to classic movie reviews to our fan favorite CINEMAWARS episodes, we have everything here on the Movie Mania Podcast. Today we have another episode of CINEMAWARS where civility is thrown out the window. It is not a debate about film, it is a fight about film. Now, we have 6 other competitors aside from myself, so in total we have 7, and we will eliminate each other off. Let's go to our 6 other competitors aside from myself.
All right, what's up? I'm Hunter Friesen, hailing from Cedar Falls, Iowa. I'm the film critic for the University of Northern Iowa and then member of the Iowa Film Critics Association. Hoping to get my first win today.
Hey, I'm Tristan. I run Movie Reviews 100 on Instagram, and I'm also looking to get my first win today.
Hello, my name is Brett. I run the ArtPig_reviews channel on Instagram and am head of Toybox, a website with other podcasts and reviews on it. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Big J from Agnolo, and I run with my daughter Agnolo Movies blog on Instagram and also agnolo.com.
Hi, I'm Lyd. I run Buffed Film Buff on Instagram and then the website www.bufffilmbuffs.com. I'm not sure about winning. I'm going to try my best.
All right, so as usual, let me get to the current champion. He's the reigning, defending, undefeated current CINEMAWARS champion, Movie Fest UK.
Yeah! What's that? Yo, yeah, it's Connor here. I run the Instagram page, Movie Fest UK, if you hadn't noticed. And I'm hoping to keep this title, so bring it.
So let's get on to our first round, in which one individual will be eliminated from the round. So what is the ideal movie watching experience in a theater? So I will go first because I'm very passionate about this one. This has happened to me a couple times, but specifically I remember in Creed 2. So I was watching Creed 2, right? I go like a couple weeks after the movie premieres, and I'm like sitting in the theater alone. Nobody's there. I'm like, okay, this is fine. And then one guy walks in the theater. I'm like, okay. And the theater's totally empty. He walks in and sits directly next to me, even though the entire theater is empty. I don't know if anybody else has had that experience, but it's happened a couple times. So I'm just like, what the hell are you thinking? You have the entire theater. You can sit anywhere. Why would you sit next to me? And overall, I just don't like people sitting next to me in the theater because I just like to I like my space. And that's my ideal situation. I don't know if you guys have it, those who aren't living in North America right now, but we have IMAX and Dolby theater experiences, which are kind of the premiere experiences. I prefer IMAX just because the screen is bigger. I also prefer recliners.
Okay, so I went off with the popcorns last time, so let's get Sophie again. So if you saw the last episode, to start, you have to be quiet. I don't want people munching on popcorns, talking to their friends, checking their phones. On top of that, IMAX, I think the experience on IMAX is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I'm completely against 3D and 4DXs. The ideal movie watching experience is to watch something on an IMAX, quiet, something that you thought you'd never see, you would never have the opportunity to see it, and you probably would never have the opportunity again.
I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not against a rowdy cinema at all. I think it's really fun in the right context. Like Avengers Endgame, if you were in the theater for that with the right kind of audience, it's a blast. But regardless, my best movie theater experience was with Lee Chang-dong's Burning, which was not something you could really find at a big cinema. It was more of an independent style. And I think independent cinemas are nice because they have an intimate feel. It's not the biggest screen in the world, but you have a couple people who definitely are invested in the movie. They're not just going for the social purposes and they really want to be there. So I think 40 to 80 seats, nice recliner seats, even if it means a smaller screen, people are less likely to be chatting, munching away. I don't think food is the best idea, especially if you're drinking a slushie the whole time and you have to get up and maybe go to the bathroom.
On a side note, I just got to say I absolutely love Burning. That is one of my favorite films oh my God. I've seen it 7 times. It is so good. Oh God. So yeah, now that's out of the way. My one, I'd say it's a mix between the sound and the atmosphere. Obviously when the lights go down, when you first sit in the seats and the lights slowly dim down, you're like, the film's finally starting, and then the sound kicks in, and you're like, oh, there's nothing better than the feeling that you get when you're sat there. You can't replicate it anywhere else. Do you know what I mean? When you're sat at home, it's not the same feeling. So definitely the atmosphere, like, of a cinema, like, you can't beat it.
I think that the cinema experience, of course, if people are quiet, there's no munching, all of this that has been repeated is really great. But I think ultimately you can be in any theater. You can be in a small theater, you can be in a huge theater, but what's going to make the best impact is the quality of the film and the discussion you have afterwards. Now, I do go see movies by myself a lot, but then after that I can go online and talk to friends about the movie and stuff. But what I'm talking about is having a group of friends going to see a movie and then sitting down, getting drinks, and then just discussing the film and everything about it. And so for my example, there's an independent theater where I live very close to me that was playing Manchester by the Sea. And at the time I was a SAG member, and a couple of my friends were too. So we all went to go see it because we were trying to see all the films. And the theater experience was great. It was a packed crowd, but it was a crowd of people who obviously appreciated cinema. And then after the movie, we walked out and we all talked about how incredible it was. And we went to a pizza joint and we talked for like 4 hours about the entire movie.
So to go off of that, I kind of have a similar point here, but there's a theater near me called the Tiff Bell Lightbox, which is basically run by the Toronto International Film Festival, and everyone who goes there is very much into independent world cinema. And one of the great things I love, and it doesn't just have to be at a cinema like that, it can be at any theater, but basically one time I was seeing The Lighthouse, and I was by myself. There were 2 other people in the theater that sat relatively close to me, but not like right beside or anything. And then after the movie, we just had this really amazing discussion. And I didn't know who these people were. Like, one guy was a lot older than me. One guy was around my age. But we just had this amazing, like, 20-minute discussion afterwards about the film and about films in general. And I think that's really amazing when you can get strangers in the same room to talk about a film and view the shared experience together.
I see. Mine's different than the experience than the community of it. Because when I went and saw The Goldfinch, 2018, 19, whatever year that was, and it's in this little 20-seat theater that's near where I live, and you can't reserve the seats, so it's first come first serve. And I was the first one there, and nobody else came. I was the only person watching this movie, and it enhanced that experience just much more because it's a really intimate feel. The lights dimmed and everything, and I was experiencing that movie a lot more. It didn't make the movie better, but it made it a lot more enjoyable to watch it. So I like it when there's a lot less people in the theater.
All right, so that's going to do it for this round. Good arguments from everyone involved. So now, unfortunately, let's vote for someone off. Let's vote for the person you thought had the worst argument.
There are so many good answers there. I feel like definitely I was the worst, man. I'm just sitting here thinking I'm just the shittest one there, definitely. Oh God. So do I vote for myself then? Like,
if you want to.
That would help.
Yeah. One less vote for me, I guess then. Yeah.
Well, that's Hunter then.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if I see you scribble out something and then put mine in, then I'm gonna be mad.
All right. So is everybody done writing?
No.
I'm actually really scared, guys. I don't want to get eliminated. I love these questions. This is all right, Tristan. Let's go to you.
All right, this was a tough one because I think everyone gave a really amazing argument, but I went with Hunter ultimately because with that argument, you can have the same experience at home by yourself, right? So,
but it's a theater, and
I guess
it enhances the home experience at the theater.
Hunter?
Okay, well, I didn't vote for myself because I knew I'd probably get voted. So he said I voted for UK. It was more. I don't know. I think it was like the more broad answer, which I still agreed with. But I was like, well, if I'm gonna vote for one of them, that's gonna be it. I still liked it, but had to make the hard choices.
This is gonna be awkward because I voted for Brett on this one, just because I didn't feel like he answered the question properly. Sorry, Brett. Who did you vote for?
I voted for Movie Fest because I thought it was broad.
Shit.
All right. And your vote?
God.
I ended up voting for Hunter.
Hey, no, wait a minute here.
Oh.
Okay. Woo!
Well, here's the thing: is it's not going to lead to any answer. I actually voted Big J. Can I be perfectly honest? Like, it's only
I
because
haven't
forgot
voted
what you
yet.
said.
Just quick. I haven't voted yet. Don't forget me, Alex, bro.
Oh, sorry. Sorry,
Sorry,
Liz.
Liz. Carry on. Sorry to cut you off.
Sorry?
Carry on.
What?
Sorry.
Okay. It was just I just cannot remember what you said, to be perfectly honest. And it's like right after Alex, I was really passionate about that because it was the least clear in my mind. I was like, sorry about it.
Next time he's gonna speak very slowly. He's just gonna drag it out.
Yeah.
Very forgettable
Okay, so
here.
Movie Fest. It comes down to you.
It's only because he. Oh shit! Wait, there's the camera. Hunter. Like,
Oh my God.
only because. Yeah, being in the cinema on your own. Like, I get what you were saying about obviously enhancing the experience, but
Exactly.
I don't know. You got to have people there. Like, it's not a cinema without other people there.
This is Hunter's second time being eliminated first.
They hate
He's
me.
never-
You guys hate me because I was the last one to go. You just remembered my answer the most, you know?
And any other
I'm
last
sorry,
words?
I didn't even. Oh,
I'm glad I didn't put I didn't put so much work into prepping myself because I knew I'd be eliminated first. So I was like, what's the point putting an hour's worth of work into this?
I've not played with him before. Though,
Hunter
so
has
it's
been
not me.
eliminated. We almost had
Oh,
Movie Fest
shit.
out of there, but he's gone. So next question: what sequel/reboot do you like more than the beloved original? Movie Fest. Let's go to you first.
I'm
What
looking
do you
forward
think?
to this one. Yeah, I went for Peach Dragon by David Lowery. I absolutely love that film. Like, it's magical, meaningful, it's beautiful, and I love Carl Urban as well.
So I went with Shrek 2. I think that the original is obviously the original is obviously a classic, and it got nominated for multiple Oscars. But I think what's so great about the second one is it takes the concept of the first one and it just elevates it with more humor, more wacky characters. I love Puss in Boots. The addition of him is amazing.
I went with Paddington 2, which is like the highest rated movie ever, apparently. And I completely understand. I love the first Paddington. I went into that movie thinking it would be a disaster, and it was delightful. And then going into the second one, I was blown away to see this really beautiful film about the way we should treat other people that don't look and speak like we do. And Paddington himself is just such an avatar of joy and peacefulness and kindness. What I love about the character is even when he like goes to prison, he doesn't treat the prisoners like they're just delinquents. He treats them as people.
Well, believe it or not, I went with Ocean's 8. I feel like this movie kind of got swept under the rug when everybody was getting all pissy about all-female remakes because Ghostbusters came out and everyone was like, oh God, we hate those. Like, why do we keep putting women in roles that, you know, men did better 20 years ago, etc. And well, I'm not here to say that Gary Ross's filmmaking is necessarily better than Steven Soderbergh as a true like Steven Soderbergh fan, but I think it's a solid movie. And in terms of rewatchability, I would rather watch these girls like plan a heist in the Met Gala than in Vegas, these guys in Vegas any day. And this movie has Cate Blanchett, Sandra Bullock, Awkwafina. It has all these powerhouses, and it never feels like a conflict of interest that they're all there.
Okay, so I'm a bit worried because I had 5 options because I thought if I wasn't first, everyone would take them, and no one took any of them. So I'm a bit worried. Okay, but mine top one has to be Terminator 2. Like the first Terminator, come on.
Oh, shit.
The first
Why not
Terminator.
think of that?
The first Terminator is like an amazing movie. But if we know what people do with sequels and reboots, is just use the same formula, do it again. Terminator 2 completely flipped everything on the heads. Like it's so surprising what they did. And then everyone's been trying to do the same since then. So like the first Terminator, and if we're talking about beloved originals, like the Terminator is like a masterpiece. But what they did with the second one, they just like on everything. They just upped the game.
Way too safe. And everybody knows that Terminator 2 is better than the original Terminator.
So if everyone knows,
I
I
did try
answer
to
the
be
question.
unique. That's what I went for. I was like,
That's the thing. If everyone knows, you're already saying I answered the question perfectly.
Okay.
That's the thing.
nah, it's a great answer.
I'm going to go for the 2018 Halloween for my pick. I think the original Halloween is a fine movie. However, I'm not a huge fan of the slasher genre. I do think the 2018 film, it has a 3.3 on Letterboxd, which is not extremely high, but it's not. Oh my God, come on, a yellow. I actually think it's a great.
I swear, I just saw like a cobweb fly past me, just as you were saying it as well. Like, so it's not looking good, Alex.
I don't even know I should keep going. I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was terrific, so I'm gonna have to go. I mean, that doesn't mean the original isn't good. I just don't think it's an amazing film, and I don't love 2018 Halloween, but I do think it was a really fun time. Let's just get this over with. Movie Fest. Let's go to you first.
I don't even need to type it, Alex. It's not there though, but it's Alex.
Tristan, just do it.
Sorry, I hate Halloween.
Yeah.
The remake.
Oh, come on.
Halloween remake's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, Alex.
Wait, you're the 2018 one, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The first one's one of my favorite movies. So sorry.
Is it me? I'm just gonna assume it's me.
Yeah.
Was it not me?
It was you.
No, it was you.
Oh, Alex, bro,
I'm
you
not
do
even-
it to
I'm
yourself.
not even gonna reveal who I eliminated because it's no use. But I actually think that movie. Everybody likes that movie. At least from what it has a high Rotten Tomato score. The Letterboxd score isn't too high.
I know who you voted anyway. Yeah, you was going Big J because Terminator 2 too easy.
I actually voted for Lydia because I'm a huge fan of Ocean's 8. So I guess I'm leaving.
Halloween.
I'm actually really pissed because I actually really like that, and I haven't met anybody who disliked it until now.
No, it's not a question of disliking. It's a
Okay,
question of
okay,
comparing.
What a choice.
I'm really pissed right now, but you know what? Fine. I'll leave. What is the worst film in AFI's top 10 films of all time?
Okay, so this for me was very, very easy because on the top 10, there's one movie that I just hate with all my being, and it's Gone with the Wind. It's racist. It's really toxic against women. The way he treats women, it's like I have two daughters that, like, every time I see that movie, it really, really did not age well with time. And like, there's nothing really I can, like, at the time, I could see one or 2 points that I could bring out, but today is just a horrendous movie. And I just don't get it. I don't know if they just forgot to update this list and never will. But why is it there? I just do not get it.
I'm going with Casablanca. This movie just means very little to me. I have no doubt a great deal of people are going to select Sing in the Rain. That was my assumption when going into this round, which is a little bit disappointing because I think Sing in the Rain is awesome. But regardless, Casablanca, aside from a few iconic lines and Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart looking beautiful in this gorgeous cinematography of 1942, it had zero impact on me. I drifted off once or twice during this movie. It's just a romance with a particularly smooth leading man.
It's going to be Gone with the Wind. Right, I'm going to have to choose Gone with the Wind. Basically, exactly for what Agnolo said. I watched it and I was sat there just cringing to it was so uncomfortable to watch it. And yeah, I don't think I actually finished it. I think I turned it off.
So what I'm going to go with is actually Raging Bull, which I know is maybe a take, but it is an excellent film. I've seen it a couple times, but I think if we have to look at the rest of the movies on the AFI Top 100 and realize the impact they have had in cinema as a whole, you can say what you want about the problematic natures of Gone with the Wind. It was one of Hollywood's first big epics. It's the biggest grossing film of all time if you adjust it for inflation. Citizen Kane obviously introduced us to like more unconventional montage, and The Godfather is obviously this tentpole of American cinema. Same with Casablanca. Raging Bull is an excellent film from the 80s, but it doesn't have the same impact that these other films have in the category. But if you look at Raging Bull, it's just the story of a really problematic fighter who ended up getting arrested for being pretty much a pedo.
Okay, geez. Okay. So
Hard one to follow.
Every movie in the AFI Top 10 deserves to be there for one reason or another. But I was going through And I decided to take a similar approach and choose the one that I think had the least amount of an impact on cinema as a whole. And I went with Vertigo. And the reason I went with that is because there's no other Hitchcock film in the top 10 here. And I don't think Vertigo had the same impact on cinema as something like Psycho or Rear Window. It's obviously a great movie. It's obviously a classic. But if you're going to put a Hitchcock movie in there, Psycho is a film that totally revolutionized the genre of horror. Rear Window totally, it changed cinema.
All right, that was difficult to watch. But vote for the individual you think should be eliminated.
Oh, I hate this part. It's just so brutal.
Okay, so Tristan almost got me with that Vertigo, but I think he made a really good point that saved his ass in the end. So I think I went with Brett because Raging Bull. Oh my god, Raging Bull.
I went with Movie Fest just because he piggybacked off of Uniqlo's points. I mean, I get it, but like that's just where it went down to.
Brett for me because I love Raging Bull. That's a great film for me.
I'm really sorry, UK. I just felt like I was trying to go based on argument alone, and you can't even see my answer. But I said you just because I felt like you were kind of piggybacking off of Big J's answer.
The tiebreaker, I hate this. I almost went with Brett because that Raging Bull take is crazy, but I went with Movie Fest because, sorry, you weren't prepared.
Okay, so Movie Fest, you have been dethroned officially. Any last words?
No, I did shit, didn't I? Really? So, yeah, my bad.
So here is the next category. What is the best trilogy of all time?
I picked the Before trilogy. I think the Before trilogy is just like perfect in every single way. And even if you think the movies are perfect, when you like kind of know the story behind it, that these people get together every 10 years to make this movie, and it's kind of the same actors and how they aging and how there's not like a lot of script, and it's also based on their proper like real-time things. I just think it's like something, especially if you catch the movie when you are on a similar phase as them, like when you fall in love, when you get married, when it's just so it's just perfection on cinema.
I actually went with the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. If you'll know me, you'll know that I'm not really into animated movies. It's not something I take like great care to like catch up and make sure to watch all of them. But How to Train Your Dragon, I've actually seen all three movies in the cinema, which is pretty rare in my opinion. And these movies are just phenomenal. The phenomenal voice cast. I don't know who the hell decided that Jay Baruchel would be a good Hiccup, but whoever decided that is just brilliant in my personal opinion. These dragons, which is ultimately at the center of the movie, are like pets. You know, it's something so deep and such a visceral and truthful connection about people connecting with animals and people connecting with other people. And I think the Viking setting is particularly stunning.
I'm going to go with another animated series that had a big impact on my childhood, and that is the Toy Story trilogy. So I was born in 1998. That was a year before the second Toy Story came out. And I grew up watching the first two Toy Stories over and over and over again. And they grew and resonated with me over time. I kind of understood the impact of Jessie's sacrifice and kind of her being left there in the second one, the older I got. And so the third Toy Story movie was the first movie I really anticipated more than anything else. Like, I was so excited for it. And for a very long time, I considered it my favorite movie. Because around the time it came out, I was like maybe 12, 13. I was growing up. I was starting to think new things. And Andy having to sacrifice and give up his toys to move on is something that really resonated with me. And it's something that every time I return back to it, it means something different. The first Toy Story is a revolutionary movie. It is on the AFI top 100 films of all time because it is the first animated movie completely made in CGI, and it completely changed the game. I'm not counting Toy Story 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think Toy Story 4 is kind of the epilogue to the trilogy.
Yeah.
I think there's a trilogy, and then I think the fourth one is like, you're not with Andy anymore, you're with Bonnie. And it's Woody figuring this out for himself. I think the first three is an arc with Andy, and then the fourth one's the arc with Woody. That's just my opinion.
Do you think that the fourth one ruined what the first three had going for them?
No, I don't.
Oh man, this is tough because I love all of those trilogies that you guys brought up. But I decided to go with another one that has had a really personal impact on me when I first watched them, and that's the Cornetto trilogy. Edgar Wright's 3 films: Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. I think Edgar Wright is a phenomenal filmmaker. He's someone who he takes these genre films and he inserts a lot of depth into them and a lot of comedy. And he's a master at really constructing these really human films and throwing a bunch of wacky elements in them as well. They work really well as a trilogy because thematically they cover a lot of the same ground, but they also work really well individually because each movie is its own complete thing. And I think that what Edgar Wright did with these 3 films is something that a lot of filmmakers don't even come close to achieving. So that's why I went with that one. Yeah, I don't want to vote for anyone. This is tough.
Everyone did amazing. I'll just have to go with Brett because, first of all, I was thinking exactly the same thing. I don't think you can go and say, oh, that's not really part, that's an epilogue. It's not a trilogy anymore because he has that part.
I love the Cornetto trilogy, but I think The World's End is so far off the quality of Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz that I just can't validate it as being the best trilogy because I think the 2 are so good as standalone movies. I can't put them all together and say, yes, these are all awesome. So I'm really sorry, Tristan. I gotta go with you.
I went with Big J. I love the Before trilogy, but I do the How to Train Your Dragon movie had a prolific impact on me, and Lid explained why perfectly. And the Cornetto trilogy is some of the movies that made me want to make movies. So whenever I got to the Before trilogy, they were just wonderful movies. And also I haven't experienced love yet, so the themes aren't as universal to me yet. I do, yeah, tear.
Oh,
this is really, this is so tough for me because I think that all of these arguments were incredible, and these are my 4 favorite trilogies, and to me, they're all on par. I'm sorry, Brett, I had to go with you because of the same arguments that Agnolo made. I think that the 4th one kind of takes some of the impact away from number 3.
Any last words?
No.
Okay, so the next category. What is the best Stanley Kubrick film? My favorite director, and I'm not here to.
Oh God.
Alex is pissed. He can't be part of the
Okay. So this is the part that I think I'll probably be alone and I'll probably be leaving, but I had to be honest. It was between Clockwork Orange and Doctor Strangelove, but Doctor Strangelove it's just, at the time it was an insane comedy and just ridiculous. Peter Sellers just kicks it out. Oh, it's just one of the best performances of all time. And the movie is the kind of movie that I love, that it makes you think about what's right, what's wrong, what's going on in the world. And all the other ones that I love of Kubrick, I don't feel that close. So I had to go with Doctor Strangelove.
Well, I'm going to keep mine short and simple. I went with 2001. I think this is the birth of modern film, if I'm being entirely honest. There are so many brilliant concepts at play. It hits a nerve. It makes you uncomfortable because how the hell did this come out in 1969? I believe that's the year, right? 1969. It proposes all the possibilities of what AI is destined to become, where we came from, what we're going to be. It's just exploring the human brain in every possible facet.
All right. I'm shocked no one picked mine because I had to come up with multiple options because I thought someone was going to pick it first. But I went with The Shining. I think out of all of his films, as iconic and incredible as the ones you 2 mentioned, The Shining's the one that had the most, the biggest impact on not only cinema, but pop culture in general. The Shining's a film that anyone, regardless of if you're into film or not, can quote and get something out of. And that's one of the things I love so much about The Shining. As much as I love all of his films, The Shining's one that works on 2 levels. It works on the surface as just a horror film, but it also works as a deeper exploration of humanity.
All right, so that's going to do it for
this is
round.
tough. How do you vote against any of this?
Deciding between Kubrick's, it's already hard. this is in no means a personal dig to you, Big J, but again, Strangelove, it's been so long since I've seen it, and I just don't think it's had quite the impact of Kubrick's other movies.
Well, I had to go with Tristan, just because I think The Shining is like it's probably his most like bankable project.
I'm sorry, I went with on YOLO for the same reasons as Lid. I think that Doctor Strangelove, great movie, but I don't think it's had the same impact as the other two.
I knew this was the one that would get me.
So YOLO, join the club. Any last words?
No, I knew this was the one. I could have gone for a easier answer, but I wanted to talk about this one.
All right, so YOLO has been eliminated. So we have the final two. One of you will be crowned the CINEMAWARS champion. I'm sorry, I'm so pissed over 5th round. Fucking whatever. So, time for our annual overrated question. We have to have one every game. Overrated question. What is the most overrated action movie ever?
Oh God, no, everyone's gonna be so mad at me. Everyone's gonna be so pissed because this movie already came up and people love it. So this is really gonna suck. But yeah, I said Terminator 2 actually. Believe it or not. I don't think it's good. I think that John Connor is one of the most annoying characters ever put to film, and that the first Terminator is like miles better. I'm so serious. Besides its special effects, which I will give the edge to for Robert Patrick's T-1000, I simply cannot understand why people find this movie better than the first. The sequel is just a far cry from anything remotely resonant or profound because it centers on this obnoxious little boy who was so unfortunately miscast that it literally ruins the entire movie for me.
Whoa, okay. I was going to go with the safer choice, but you know what? I'm going to play the same game as you. So I was going to go with Escape from New York. No, I'm doing John Wick. John Wick, yeah, I'm sorry. It is an incredibly well choreographed film. The stunts in it are great, but from a story perspective, from a character perspective, John Wick is not something that I connect to at all. And I think it declined very rapidly as a trilogy. I think that the first one, it had its appeal, but from there, I think that the whole trilogy just totally declined.
Oh my God! I grew up. Okay,
Yes.
So now everybody who's eliminated currently will vote for the individual they think should be eliminated, and then after that, we will have a winner.
Oh, Tristan!
This was fun.
This was fun. I'm glad it came down to us.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm finally back. Woke up from my nap. Oh, I just get to vote. I thought it was all of us get in. Okay, I voted Lid, because I do love Terminator 2. I will admit I'm not a fan of child actors or kids in general, but Terminator 2 is an amazing movie. So I had to vote for her. There now I just
Well, look what we have here. Okay. So nice to get some revenge. Actually, no, I can't really get revenge on anyone because everybody voted for me. But I voted for Lid as well. Tristan tested me. He did with the John Wick take. But Terminator 2 because I know some people who dislike John Wick. I don't know anybody who dislikes Terminator 2, and overall Terminator 2 is just like regarded as a classic. I'm sorry.
Don't care.
Movie Fest.
Well, unless Tristan turned around and said Die Hard, that was the only way. That's the only way I was fucking knowing him out. So unfortunately, yeah, it's Lid, man. T2 is just that is such a great film. I must have seen it about 10 times as well.
So number one, I also love Terminator 2. But I have to admire Lid for the ambition for going for Terminator 2. And I thought her argument was way stronger than Tristan's, no offense, so I went with Tristan.
That's good for you, but
You know what? Like, as soon as Lid said Terminator 2, we all wrote in the comments like, oh, Tristan, just shut up and you'll win. And he didn't. And I'm really confused now because not only he said John Wick and he said, oh, the action is amazing, but the movie, and we talk about the best action movie, and he says the action, and then he puts another nail on the thing when he says, oh, my other pick was Escape from New York. Are you like what? Like, My vote is not going to do anything, but I'm going to vote Tristan because he had everything to win and he made it hard, and I thought it was impossible. So I'm going to have to vote Tristan out because he did the impossible. He challenged us to. Oh my God! So, like, I'm really surprised here.
So, Lynn, any last words? Actually, no, you don't get any last words. You've been here for a very long time. So, Tristan.
I'm very happy. Thanks for having me on. These have been a lot of fun, and I'm glad I finally won one. So I'm excited to defend my championship next match.
Yeah, good luck with that one. As we'll tell you, as we have 3 past champions with you, it is so difficult. I got eliminated, I guess, maybe fairly. I don't know. Everybody voted for me. Movie Fest got eliminated for saying the same thing as Agnolo. So, and then Agnolo got eliminated for saying Dr. Strangelove, which is like an amazing. It's so amazing. But
somebody's gotta go, Alex.
Yeah, that one I'm not upset because I knew that. But
Fair.
like, I know Tristan's never gonna get like a easier win than this.
If you haven't already, please follow us on Instagram. Please like the video, subscribe, hit that bell icon to get notified on all our latest simulated content. Thank you for watching. Ciao.